It's the Fellowship of the Geek Show, a weekly podcast about comics, the comic book industry, and other geek pop culture. Music courtesy of Manny the Martyr. And now, on with the show!
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to a special All the Horror in April edition of the Fellowship of Geeks. This is Tom, and joining me is Mike.
Hey, gang.
And Liz.
Hello, everybody.
Fortunately, we do not have Les. He is under the weather, but we hope he'll be back with us next time. But we do have a special guest, and it's longtime listeners will probably recognize this voice. We've had her on a few times, and it's always a blast to have her. From Pitney, Amelia's Bitchen Boutique, it is Amelia.
Hello. Hello. Oh, wait. The party horn. Hold on. Just happened to have a party horn with me today.
You came prepared. Better than us. There you go. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I love being on with you guys.
Well, we love having you. Like I said, it's always a blast.
Yay.
First of all, I want to say congratulations on episode 200.
Yay.
Oh, yes.
Yet that happened, the first of the year, is that correct?
It worked out to be the first episode of the year.
Wow.
And it happened to be the first episode of this very important year, which is the 40th anniversary of Pitney and I meeting and becoming best friends.
That's cool.
So that's why this is the year of us.
And it's
on the
cool.
show.
It's been fun. Every episode's been really. I mean, your shows are always entertaining, but it's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting to hear a little bit back of things that y'all have encountered in the adventures and all that. It's been really a blast.
All of the many inside jokes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, a lot of the stories are things we've told before, but this is very concentrated. This is very, like we had one, the one that's up right now as we're recording this is all about our old friend Verity Noslin, who is a special kind of lady, and her craziness, and the kinds of stories that people don't want to believe is true, because how could all of those things be true about one person? It's like, well, because she's nuts. But and we had one all about just the weirdos we used to see at cons, and we've got one. We actually have one coming up that's we just started talking about our cars and which ones were junky and which ones were great, and Pitney used to have a Suzuki Samurai that he could repair himself, and it was his favorite thing.
That's because you didn't need a jack to change a tire on those things. You just sort of
man,
lifted it up.
Those things were basically wind-up toys, and he loved that car.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's just, we just have a calendar filled with weird random topics that don't make any sense to people, and it's just okay, topic, go, and before we know it, an hour went by.
And it's amazing, as someone who does the scheduling for this show, the fact that you've got enough content for an entire year just based off your stories my hat's off to you.
It does help that we're every other week. That does help. So it's only 26 episodes for a year.
Still, that's a
it's
lot.
about what we're on pace for this year, but that's a different story. It's been an interesting year, folks. I'm just saying.
But yeah, it's been a lot of fun for us too. We definitely have laughed more these last couple months than we've laughed in a long time.
Laughing is good. Laughing is a good thing.
Laughing is very good.
Laughing is good. Still waiting for a Filk show too.
Yeah. I'm sorry that I had to make a rule that the fact that there were 3 people on your show and we wanted 3 people to tell us to do the Filk show.
You do not need to apologize for that. If you had said 4, I'd have gotten the 4th one to do it too. It was not about that there was a rule. It was about I was just flabbergasted that I was the first person to say yeah, to say I wanted that. I'm like, wait, what? No. We need to make this happen.
Well, it'll if it happens, it's going to happen in August because he and I are going to be together in San Jose at GalaxyCon, and we will definitely do the Filk show then if we get. All we need is one of your listeners. All they have to do is tell us. Or maybe one of you will just create a burner account or something.
I'm thinking,
Right? I say, did the fake Les account respond to that one?
Technically, he's a part of the podcast, so we can't do that. But we got enough people in our Discord. I bet we can get somebody to do it.
You know.
Oh
yeah, exactly. You'd have to fake me out somehow.
Working
and
on it.
then not reveal later. Oh, by the way, that was me.
Oh no, we just have to wait until after the show it goes live before we admit that. That's all.
We can do that.
The world is waiting to hear me sing. That's fine. I was very proud of our rendition of "Everyone Knows It's Leela" on the Filk episode. It was
very nice.
It was very complicated having the karaoke thing on my phone that I was holding up to the microphone, and it was very there were a lot of outtakes on that. Yeah, there was a lot of outtakes, a lot of me being really pissed off and going, "No, wait, we're starting again. Hold on." Because you can't sing a duet over Skype.
No, you cannot.
It does not work.
That timing does not. That's nope.
Yeah.
We can barely do what we do over Skype.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I guess we need to go ahead and start talking about the movie.
I mean, we could, I guess.
I mean, we don't have to. We can just keep talking like this.
It's kind of what we did with Madeline a couple of weeks back. Oh, yeah, you've got a book, right?
Oops.
I made sure it got mentioned at least 3 times throughout the hour we recorded that.
And in fairness, it was her that brought it up.
Yeah, she brought up Netflix.
She was the one that brought up streaming recommendations.
What was funny, and I should probably not admit this in public, but I'm going to anyway. She dropped her monthly newsletter a couple of days later. It had a whole bunch of Netflix picks in it. I don't know which came first. I'm just saying.
Well, did they line up?
They lined up pretty well, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if she had them already written down because that's what she was working on, or if she got the idea to put that in there because of us. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not going one way or the other on that one, but it was damn convenient.
We need
synergy.
We need to reach out to her and see if she's found Salvage 1 yet.
Yeah, no kidding.
Salvage 1 is a very short-lived series in 1979 that starred Andy Griffith. And he was an ex-NASA employee who had a salvage business, and one of the things he did was build a spaceship to go to the moon to get all the stuff that was left from the Apollo missions and sell it as salvage.
Oh my God!
That was essentially the series.
How many episodes did that last?
19.
That's a lot, man. You could do a lot of crappy TV back when things moved really slowly.
Well, it was funny because somehow he got brought up, and I don't remember who said it. It's like, you know, he never had it was always either it was grade A content or he never failed. And I remembered this show because I've seen bits and pieces of the first episode. I was like, I beg to differ.
Maybe that's a failure. 19 episodes though. That's not terrible.
Well, considering that was the year that, and we almost did an episode about it. We may still at some point. There was like 33 shows between the start of the season and the mid replacements that were killed, that were canceled. 33. That is the highest.
And there weren't even that many channels.
Right. That's 3 channels.
Oh my God.
This is back when 3 channels. Yes.
Oh wow.
This was the year that we had like 3 different versions of Animal House, including Animal House on TV.
Oh, I remember. Wasn't it called Delta House?
Delta House. Yep.
Delta House. I remember that one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, what a blast!
There was 2 others too. So yeah, it's and the whole thing came up because it was one of my suggestions on YouTube. Someone had put together the opening credits for a bunch of those shows. That some of them that survived, but most of them didn't get past. I mean, one was canceled right after the first episode. I remember that.
Oh my God!
And
what year was this?
79. 1979.
Was Carter Country one of them, or was that earlier than 79?
I think Carter Country was a little bit earlier.
I know it didn't last long.
But one of the successes was Angie. Angie at least got 2 seasons out.
I loved Angie. I loved that. I totally
Angie
loved that
was
show.
fun. Yeah, it was fun. I would love to see that again.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing the opening thing and going, Doris Roberts playing the annoying mother. That's all she's done her entire career.
Oh my God.
It's not true.
She made a hell of a career out of it.
Yeah. Well, she was
Remington Steele, she was a secretary.
Right.
But she was still kind of the same personality.
Yeah. But she did it so well.
She did, right. I mean, that's the deal.
Yeah.
Well, there was that fabulous episode of St. Elsewhere where she and James Coco were like a homeless couple. And she had like frostbite or something and she was going to lose her feet. And James Coco was like her simpleton boyfriend or something. And it was one of those like, they may have both won Emmys for guest star on that. I used to have a VHS of just that episode of St. Elsewhere. I was a big St. Elsewhere fan, but I got that at like a thrift store, and I watched that episode a lot.
Oh, I bet. I'm sorry, I can't. Every time I hear James Coco, I keep thinking about Murder by Death.
Oh, God.
He was so great in that.
Oh, my God.
He was.
They all were.
That was a great movie.
Yes. So, speaking about great movies, this may not be it, but we're going to go ahead and talk about it. And it's the same year, 1979.
Ah, yes.
It's considered a horror comedy, where I'm not sure where the horror comes from, but other than Dracula, but
it's the Dracula thing. That's all.
Yeah.
It was the snake. That was the scariest part of this whole thing, was the snake.
I don't know. The black chicken was pretty scary too.
Right.
The disco scenes were pretty frightening too.
That also, yes.
Yeah.
Love at First Bite, starring
Yes.
George Hamilton, Susan St. James, Artie Johnson, who is, oh God, if anybody was perfect, he was perfect as Rainfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was having fun.
Yeah, he was having fun chewing up the scenes.
And the bugs.
But by the end of it, that laugh was getting really, yeah.
It was supposed to be.
Richard Benjamin, Dick Shawn. This movie was actually my introduction to Dick Shawn. Then I found better films.
Right.
Sure.
Like The Producers.
Right.
No.
You know, he got me thinking while I was watching it. Does anyone? I mean, Dick Van Dyke might be the last Dick walking around out there. Like no Richards go by Dick anymore.
Would you?
No, but I mean, it's not like it didn't mean that anything back then either. But there were a hell of a lot of Dicks back then, and now you don't. There ain't no Dicks walking around.
We were swimming in dicks back then. I'm just saying.
Exactly. You couldn't swing a cat without hitting a dick.
And now we know why nobody uses that name anymore.
I would Google dick actors,
Be
but
careful.
I'm scared of that one.
Please don't do that.
Make sure your safe search is on.
All right.
There may not be a safe search safe
Right,
enough for that.
Steve.
Phrase the search that wouldn't get me all the wrong results. But yeah.
See, John Holmes, first one pop up.
Good old John Holmes.
Sean Holmes, who was not in Love at First Bite.
No, he was not.
As far as we know, Dick Shawn was the only Dick we saw in this movie. But anyway.
That's true. I mean, there was Richard Benjamin, but he was not technically a Dick.
Well, he was kind of a Dick, but
He was kind of a Dick,
he wasn't named Dick.
Richard Benjamin used to be one of those like really reliable actors. Like if Richard Benjamin was in a movie, I'd be like, well, okay, I'm gonna like him, like Dabney Coleman. You know, he was like that.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, you know, I checked. Richard Benjamin still alive and still married to Paula Prentice, and they're adorable.
Yeah.
Cool. Go
Makes
for
me
that.
very happy.
I think he just does directing now.
I think so.
I can't remember last time I've seen him in anything. He's really good in The Last of Sheila. Have you ever seen that film?
The name is familiar, but I don't think I've seen it.
It's so familiar that I'm wondering if you're the person I've talked about it with.
Maybe.
Probably because I love the film. It's with
we have that effect
him,
on people.
James Mason, Diane Cannon, Raquel Welch. It's all about them playing this game, and about James Coburn. He's the host of the game.
Okay.
The script was written by Anthony Perkins and Stephen Sondheim.
Oh, wow.
Okay, yeah, I know Sondheim would have been probably my way into it, but I can't remember.
It's like
I talk about Sondheim with a lot of people.
Yeah, it was early 70s. It's really good. It's kind of a kind of slap at Hollywood, but it's a mystery too,
right?
Because she was killed off at the first of the film.
Spoiler.
Well, I mean, that's why it's The Last of Sheila. Yeah. It's a really good film. I think I might have that on DVD. I don't remember. So, all right. Love at First Bite. Let's get back.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No worries. Loyal listeners to our show will know we do this kind of shit all the time.
That's
Sometimes, most of the time, having a topic for us is an exercise in futility.
Yes, I agree. Because I'm the one that comes up with the topics. Like, okay. So, all right. Who'd like to go first with their thoughts?
Well, you know I took notes, so I can dive in at any time. So I'll let someone else, because I have a couple pages of notes here. Sound effect, me looking at my notes. But someone else can go first.
Liz, go ahead.
Liz, hit us with something, Liz.
Yeah. This was a weird one. it was kind of the really bad you liked it.
There were some moments I actually laughed.
Oh, it had me laughing all through it. I mean,
Yeah.
like we said earlier with the black chicken, it was like, oh dear God. I've never heard a bat referred to as that, so.
I don't think anybody had ever heard of a bat referred to that way.
Yeah.
Right.
Possibly not even since.
I didn't understand the very beginning, though. If he can control people, why was he forced to move from his home?
That was indeed the joke.
Okay. I guess that one went over my head. I was trying to make sense of nonsense.
Right, exactly.
Unlike other jokes that they made over and over again to make sure we got them. Like I think I counted 3 Roots jokes.
Roots was very popular at the time.
Which were pretty much the same. Oh, that's true. Although I gotta say I actually had to stop, and my brain mixed up the names Alex Haley and Alvin Ailey. So the first one, it was the Alvin, I told you to find your roots, but who told you to drink the water? The thing with the the coffin, and I thought using the name Alvin was part of the Roots joke, but then it was just like, oh no, I totally screwed up the names. But I mean, they're close, so
Close.
It's not my fault. It's been a minute since I thought about Alex Haley.
Right.
Sure. I mean, as popular as Roots was in 1979, it's 2024 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been a while.
Yeah. We've had remakes of Roots since then.
And sequels, although I don't really know how. But anyway.
Oh, God. Oh, you know what? I'm just noticing something on my list. So the second Roots joke was made when the 4 guys were mugging him. The last guy, since I mentioned St. Elsewhere earlier,
that's where he was familiar from. I saw him and I was like, that guy looks familiar, and I couldn't place him.
Eric Lanyeville, and he actually, and it's weird because when I looked it up to verify that it's like that is who I think it is, because he was so young. Oh my God! I mean, he looked like a teenager. But I while I was looking him up, I went to double check, and I could not verify the one thing I always tell people whenever he comes up, which isn't often, but that he and I went to the same college. But then it's like, but I couldn't find that anywhere. I don't know why I would have thought that. So, I mean, he's one of 2 people from St. Elsewhere who went to the same college I did, but the other one was G.W. Bailey, who just went there for like his last semester. Because Barry Corbin, they went to Texas Tech together, and G.W. Bailey never graduated because he started getting acting jobs. And they picked on him so long that he went back to school, and he graduated like the semester after I did. He went for 1 semester and then gave the speech at his own graduation.
G.W. Bailey.
See, that's funny because when I was in college at a conference that I went, where the fuck was it? It was like Texas State or something. He was
Which
there.
was high school?
He was teaching there or something
That doesn't
at the
surprise
time,
me.
and so he ended up giving like they had him do the like whatever keynote speech they had that first night we were there.
That would make sense. And that actually is the school. It wasn't called Texas State when I was there, but that is the same school. And yeah, I do remember that he taught there for a while. And when I was there, Larry Hovis from Hogan's Heroes was was teaching in the theater department.
Wow.
Oh wow.
I wasn't a theater major, but it was cool.
It might have been interesting to fake it for a semester just to have
I know.
meet the guy.
Right. Walk into the wrong class.
I tried to psych myself up to try out for. They were doing Music Man, and they wanted to cast non-theater majors in all like the townspeople parts, and I could not psych myself up into doing that.
How different your life would have been if you had been in the music.
I know.
Yeah.
My goodness.
If you had just had the huevos. Anyway. I got no room to talk. I have never had
all
the
us
huevos for
celebrities.
anything like
All us celebrities who went to what would eventually become Texas State.
G.W. Bailey.
G.W. Bailey, Lyndon Baines Johnson.
That was one of my mom's favorite actors.
I love him.
She loved him on The Closer and
yes!
Major Crimes.
I mean, God. Shit, he wasn't on it a lot, but when he was on MASH, he was awesome.
Yes!
Yeah, he was there to the end, right, yeah.
Yeah, back when, like, Klinger became a bigger character, and then it was like all of, like, the side characters suddenly became a little more.
Yeah.
Right. They started showing more of the administrative side of things rather than all just the doctors and nurses and stuff. And
right.
The guy who ran the motor pool became important all of a sudden.
Which is amazing considering he slept all the time.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, I mean motor pool. It's not that big not that important a job, you know.
Right.
Don't let G.W. Bailey hear me say that, but you know.
I love the funeral scene with Sherman Hemsley.
With Sherman Hemsley, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And how weird that he and Wheezy got separate cameos.
Right.
Yeah.
At different ends of the movie.
Right.
Uh-huh. Very odd. But again, Jefferson's was big at the time.
Yeah. But yeah, the funeral was funny. That was unexpectedly funny.
That was, yeah.
I wonder if the body ever got back.
Oh, yeah, good point. Well, they must have because Dracula got his own coffin back to the hotel.
Right.
So they must have. Yeah, I guess Renfield did some work.
The next day, I'm sure Renfield straightened it out because he was uber confident. So confident. So good at his job.
Yeah.
He was all over it.
As Renfields go.
Yep.
Oh, so since someone mentioned the disco scene, did y'all know that the big when they danced together, that was it's you can still find clips out there of it, but in the original movie they were dancing to I Love the Nightlife.
Right. Yeah.
Which makes it much better. Because those fake songs are terrible.
And the version of it that I watched on YouTube had the trailer stuck at the end.
Yes!
And the trailer has the song in it. It has I Love the Nightlife in it.
They use it a lot in the trailer. It's big in the trailer. And badly spliced. It's that trailer's terrible.
The trailer's awful.
Well, the trailer tells the whole story.
And gives you all the good jokes, yeah.
All of them, yeah.
Richard Benjamin flashing his Star of David at him, and he said he should find
a nice
Jewish girl. That caught me by surprise. I chuckled.
From what I read, the whole thing with that was with the license issue. And apparently the 2015 version that was released by Studio Factory has I Love the Nightlife back in it.
Oh, really?
That's what I have read.
Interesting.
Don't know if that's actually. It would be nice to check that out because the song fits the whole movie. Because it's Dracula.
Yeah.
Nightlife.
Exactly. It was the perfect song for it.
It was.
And you can always tell when a scene is cut for one song, but the song you're hearing doesn't actually go with what's going on.
Right.
Because they're clearly not dancing to the song we're listening to.
Right.
Like the beat was there, but it was like, no, this is,
And it cuts off awkwardly at the end, of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because not the same timing.
It was wonderfully craptastic.
Yes.
Oh, any disco song will work. Come on. We don't have to use that one. All right, whatever.
All disco songs are the same. It's fine. I don't know who
Okay.
this chick is wanting more money. I mean, jeez. It's not like we have a budget anyway.
Now, I had one question, and it's like I feel like I've kind of been forcing myself to rewatch a lot of Dracula stuff because I will at some point do my March Madness Dracula bracket. So at some point I will do that. But one thing that was in the plot of this movie that I kept asking my husband is like, I can't think of any other movie, definitely not the book, that had the you have to bite her 3 times plot point. Like, that's it struck me as extremely weird to just invent an entirely new, oh no, this is how Dracula works. It's like, that's really not efficient at all. And if it's true, why does he just bite her 3 times really fast? It's not like she's getting a transfusion or something, or
Right, which other movies have gone there too.
Yeah.
But it didn't seem, I can't say it seemed original to this, but I don't, off the top of my head, I'm not remembering a specific one.
Yeah, it was just such an odd thing. I mean, but I guess it gives her the, oh yeah, I banged this guy last night and check out the hickey, but she's still, I guess, but she's not in danger yet, or what? It's the only way to make that happen, but it's still like, that's just really dumb. That just they didn't. I don't think they put a lot of thought into that into that plot point. You know, be like Blackula, where he has to try a little harder. You know, he doesn't get in bed with her on the first time he sees her. But then again, you know, it's the 70s, and she was clearly a whore.
I don't know if 70s is an excuse. Blackula was in the 70s also, but anyway.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to stretch, I want to say in many, I won't say all or most, but in many Dracula adaptations for film, Lucy, or whatever her name was in that particular adaptation, because boy, that changed a lot too. I believe he did actually attack her 3 times before she turned. But you kind of have to be paying attention. They don't mention it that way. They just have to fill her back up with blood twice before she dies.
That she just gets weaker and weaker. Yeah. I guess.
And then the 3rd time, she's dead. Until she gets back up, of course. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm not dead yet. I'm getting better.
I feel happy. I want to go for a walk. Anyway.
Oh Lord, this movie didn't have too many things. My notes are quite scant.
Well,
I've almost said everything that I had written down.
Well, one thing that has to be mentioned is, I mean, we could talk about makeup and special effects in general. They were, I mean, practically non-existent.
They avoided them. They just cut it in such a way that they didn't have to do anything.
Have you ever seen a vampire, in a film vampire, look so bad in pancake makeup? Because
it could be the size of my television.
You cannot
the high definition.
Because you cannot possibly have erased the tan from George Hamilton.
Yeah, they tried.
Despite how much they tried.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
They did I liked the way that no matter where he was and no matter what the lighting situation was in the room, he always had like an extra, like a key light going across his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Like in a very
See, that's stolen too, though.
Yeah.
Because you get that as far back as Lugosi.
Yeah.
Right.
They did that several times in the 31 Dracula.
Right.
And they did it. Clearly, nobody other than Todd Browning knew how to do it, because every other time anybody did it, it was terrible. But
it's so obvious, and it's so and in his case, because the makeup was so weird, it was almost like they were shining a flashlight in his face and going, "Look at this!
right,
Look at the eyeliner we put on him. Look at all I also have the additional thing of like George Hamilton. Like I generally don't ever find attractive the men who I'm supposed to be finding attractive, pretty much my whole life. And I never understood the George Hamilton thing. He's just I mean in that movie I would take Richard Benjamin. It's like if I had to choose, Richard Benjamin was far more my type than George Hamilton.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't get it.
I think that with George Hamilton, he just kind of like fit a type. Not really the handsome, but more of the rich,
Tan,
uptight, tan. Yeah. That's flat on my yacht
Right.
kind of guy.
I mean, it's as weird as it sounds. It's more about the acting than the appearance in a lot of these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, originally Lugosi didn't physically fit the bill for Dracula either, but fuck, did he pull it off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But Richard Benjamin at the end with the cape, it was like, yes, it was
Oh,
that
yeah.
dude. For sure.
Yeah. I love that gag. I love that gag. I mean, it took him a little too long to go through it with Dick Shawn. Like, can I borrow it for
That was that
It was like, all right, we get it.
My wife.
That was delightfully awkward, and I think that was
Yeah.
kind of the point. But
We gotta
Yeah.
cram one more bit in before the
Right.
movie's
we've actually kind of neglected these two for most of this movie. Let's give them one more shot at this. Let's do the walking away thing. I mean, almost straight out of Casablanca.
Yeah.
And let's make it as
Last
awkward as
ha-ha.
we possibly can.
Yeah.
It'll be hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They put those two in the movie, and they didn't really let them do much
anything.
funny stuff.
They're just chasing
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
It was kind of lame in that regard.
Oh, speaking of how people look, Susan St. James is a blonde. Yes? No? I
No.
thought she looked terrible.
No.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, you were talking about George Hamilton, and I was thinking the same thing about Susan St. James. I'm like, she's not who I would have cast for this movie. She's great. Don't
No.
get me wrong.
Oh,
She's
yeah,
awesome.
she's funny.
But
I always like her, but
not really in this so much. She kind of, it felt like she kind of sort of did the best she could, but not really. I don't know. And yeah, she doesn't work as a blonde for me.
no, not at all. Doesn't work as a blonde, and definitely doesn't work as a big time fashion model
Right.
Yeah,
type
she's
definitely
either.
not
It's
a
like
model type.
no,
Mm-mm.
No.
God no.
I don't know. Maybe that was part of the bit too. It's hard to tell. It was very subtle
it's
if it was.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible, but it's not like there wasn't any blonde models in Hollywood at the time.
Yeah.
Right.
And how good did she have to act? She didn't have to do much. They
No.
could have.
Right.
No, I mean, this was the George.
How busy
Hamilton.
is Cheryl Teagues?
With
Yeah.
a better written part, I mean, it could have been a lot better overall, and she would have had more to do.
Yeah.
As it was, I mean, other than half a dozen pretty good one-liners, I mean, she's just sort of running around again.
Yeah.
A little disappointing.
Yeah. Although dating your therapist, talk about conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
I think we have laws against that
$4,000
now.
too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Not
sure.
just dating him, but like banging him so that he won't charge her for therapy.
Right. But even though she was banging him, he still felt the need to charge her $4,000.
And when the fuck did she have
Yeah,
time
that
to
was
write
nice.
that check?
Right? Yeah, that was
When
weird.
did that happen? I missed that
Yeah, it
He would
entirely.
have just
That-
fluttered down from the plane or something. Like, what the...
And
yeah, I
where
don't
was
know.
their clothes? They turned to bats. Where were their clothes? They'd left just the cape behind. So
Oh,
he,
that's
like,
true.
packs up
And
a
does he
little
always leave the
backpack
cape
or-
every time he turns into a bat? That would-
No, he
You
seemed to
gotta
need
keep
it the
that
other
guy
times
is.
we saw it. It
Yeah.
seemed to be part of it. I mean, the clothes seemed to transform with him the
True.
rest of the time.
I mean, the wings, for God's sake. I mean, we all know
Yeah.
that.
You're not supposed to ask those questions.
right.
Damn it!
We're notorious for overanalyzing things. This is no exception because, damn.
Mm.
Sense of nonsense again.
Mhm.
Oh, hey, I got stupidly excited when she walked into the loony bin carrying the big stack of boxes from Kentucky Fried Chicken, back when it still was Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When on their packaging they could still say, yeah, this is fried chicken in here. I got a little too excited with that. It's
Yeah.
just like, man, did they get some kind of sponsorship deal? That was a lot of boxes. And nobody ate it.
That they didn't do anything
Nobody.
with it. It was
No.
just it was half a gag.
Yeah.
It was half a
Oh, I
gag.
thought I'd bring extra in case, so the other guys don't get jealous. Okay.
Right.
I mean, there was no like chicken fight. There was no,
I mean,
you know.
yeah, that honestly, it's a lame attempt at the product placement thing. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
that's all it was. There's no way they wrote a joke for that. That was all added after the fact.
You think it was
Wasn't there
black
wasn't
fried
there,
chicken?
wasn't there an old canon movie or something that like Kentucky Fried Chicken like paid a big part of, like, it was like a sponsor, like a literal sponsorship thing, as long as characters had to keep eating Kentucky Fried Chicken on camera and they would pay for it. Oh,
That
God,
sounds
that's gonna
very much
drive
like
me
something
crazy.
Canon would do. And
Yeah,
honestly,
I feel like it was a canon movie. Oh God,
a movie we reference way too often on the show is Demolition Man. It was from '93. It was Stallone and Wesley Snipes. And the deal is that Taco Bell did that with that movie.
right. Oh my God.
They just basically took over the movie, and it was hilarious. Because
Oh,
after
no.
the apocalypse, Taco Bell was the only restaurant to survive. So all restaurants were Taco Bell.
Oh my God. It thinks I'm looking for Kentucky Fried Movie. No, I'm not looking for Kentucky Fried Movie.
Oh, Kentucky Fried Movie. Are we gonna go off on that tangent? Because boy, we could.
Mm.
Love that movie.
So damn good.
See, Liz,
Yes.
even Amelia likes it.
Yeah.
Again, the nonsense.
No, not Recipe for
It is all about the nonsense.
Not the
Yeah.
KFC themed romance movies, Recipe for Seduction. Not that. where Mario Lopez played Colonel Sanders. No.
Oh God.
It's not.
That's nightmare fuel.
See, it's making it impossible to look up the movie that I absolutely know is real. But no, they had to go make a... Good God. I'll find it. Damn it. But probably not tonight, because everything is Recipe for Seduction now. I can't find anything else.
It's in your algorithm now.
Yep.
It's harder to find than people named Dick. It's,
Yeah.
all the Dicks are dead. Except Dick Van Dyke.
I
There's no more dick in the
I
world.
posted some famous dicks on Discord and found out I put it in the wrong spot. So some of our guys are probably going, "What the hell is she talking about?"
No, just leave it. Just leave it there.
Yeah.
It's fine.
He's just leaving it. She put it in general news.
Yes.
I deleted it once Mikey was like, did you mean to put that over there? No.
I so should not have told you that.
One guy's name was Dick Johnson. I said, wow, he was double whammied.
Oh,
Yeah.
Anyway.
But there's a few dicks, though.
There are a few dicks left.
There are a few, yeah. I had to
Get them while they're
bring
hot,
some
kids.
hope up.
Oh, gosh. My face is starting to hurt. Love at first bite.
Love at first bite.
Finger licking good.
God.
Oh, man.
I don't know if there's a lot more to say about the movie.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, there's just it's
funny, but
It's funny,
it's
but not...
like 90 minutes, but it could have been 10 for the amount of actual content. I mean, the Roots jokes alone, only took up a minute.
yeah.
Yeah.
Slap the 2-minute ending from the movie on the trailer, and there you go.
Yeah.
I did love the scene of the flight, and everybody's screaming in horror because they're watching Willard, and there's Renfield just going, "Get him! Get him!
Oh,
Get
God,
him!"
yeah. That was actually really good. And the woman that was sitting next to him, I had to look her up to make sure she wasn't the Snapple lady. Because she looked a lot like her, but she wasn't. But she was in a lot of things back then. She was on like a lot of sitcoms and things. So she was definitely very recognizable, but not the Snapple lady.
God, did Snapple even exist back then?
No.
Okay.
But and also she would have been, I mean, like age-wise, as the Snapple lady wasn't really old or anything. So, yeah.
Yep, they don't always pan out. And that's okay. Yeah, unfortunately, Artie Johnson was a bit wasted in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff he did well, he did well. The stuff that went over, the stuff that was written well, went over well. And unfortunately, there was way too little of it.
Oh well.
Yep. Also, apparently, Hamilton was trying to make a sequel to it, like 20 or 25 years later.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Love at second bite.
Yeah, that didn't happen. Thank God.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, he would mention it every once in a while. I remember, God, when was this? Like late 90s or something like that. He was host of a live special, and it was all about Dracula, and he was actually in Transylvania. This was live, so this was like in the middle of the night or early morning, them doing this thing, and he was talking. He was even mentioning then about love at second bite, and it's just like, really?
Oh, my God.
That was actually,
yes. Zorro the Gay Blade. That was the other movie that was like this that he did.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
It was just a
Zorro
few years
Gay-
later, like 83
Yep.
or
Which
something.
that's a movie I'm afraid to watch again because I have good memories of it and I'm sure it sucks. I'm sure it's absolutely horrible.
Well, go into it with that attitude, and if you're wrong, then you'll be happy, and
There you go.
it's all good.
There you go.
Set the bar low enough, and you'll never be disappointed. Which is pretty much the motto of our show. But anyway,
Oh God, I just looked up like people also ask kind of things, on Google. What is George Hamilton most famous for? And I figure it's just going to say his tan. It says his debonair style, perpetual suntan, and commercials for Ritz crackers.
God,
No,
I remember that.
no, I can't say I remember.
Oh yeah,
Ritz crackers.
and it was. He even made. If I remember right, he even made. There were jokes about his tan involved in the Ritz cracker commercials.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
It was a resemblance thing to a certain extent.
Okay.
I wish I could remember it in enough detail to make it funny, but I can't.
A toasted cracker.
Uh-huh. Right, and since we've seen what it looked,
Thank you, Amelia.
I'm right there with you.
I was saying, since we've seen what happens when somebody tries to make him look like a saltine cracker, it doesn't. Yeah.
Right. He's kind of more of an extra toasty Cheez-It, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I got nothing. Yeah.
Right. That's the problem with this whole movie is that it's just so close to a really terrible joke that constantly it's just dancing on the edge of like the worst joke you can think of in any given situation, and it's just yeah.
I mean, we had so much more to say about Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. There was so much more meat on that bone than this one.
Right. There was.
And yet we thought there wasn't much to say at the time. But nope, this one wins.
So far, who knows what'll happen next time we do this?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, it wasn't a terrible idea. It was just
execution.
Not really the way it should have been done. Which is sad, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I normally like horror comedy, but this movie struggles to be either.
Like, speaking of Richard Benjamin, Saturday the 14th. Now, that's another movie I have really good memories of that I haven't seen since. So, I think it's good. Could be good.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that one in forever. Probably when it first came out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a while.
You would think someone would pull it out every once in a while, especially when it's Saturday the 14th. Say, hey.
Exactly. Why make such a big deal out of Friday the 13th movies when there's a Saturday the 14th movie?
Right. Why the hell wouldn't, you could do an all-day marathon of Friday the 13th movies and then right at midnight switch that shit over and play Saturday the 14th. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's right there.
What the hell?
I'm sure it doesn't cost anything. I'm sure it would just... I'm sure you don't pay anybody.
Right. Call Richard Benjamin. He'll send you a copy. I mean, come on.
Really?
There was two, so they could keep it fresh, alternate.
Wait, there was a sequel to it?
Uh-huh.
Sunday the 15th?
Saturday the 14th Strikes Back.
Was it?
Wow.
1988. Yep.
Okay.
Oh my God. How did I not know that? That's amazing.
It stars, it looks like Ray Walston. Wasn't he the Martian?
Yeah. Uncle Martin.
Yeah.
Or Mr. Hand, depending on your generation.
Right. Right. There you go.
And for those who don't get the reference, that's Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'd be very upset if there was someone who listens to your show and they don't know Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah.
They probably get both references.
Right.
So
I would hope. Oh, Avery Schreiber was in Saturday the 14th Strikes Back.
Ooh.
You don't get to See, Avery Schreiber, God Lord.
Mm.
Famous mustaches for 1,000, Alex.
There you go.
Aw, now I'm sad. Alex.
See, you can't make that joke without making it Alex Trebek because what are you gonna say, Ken? It's like
He was there
you'd
so
have to-
long.
like,
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
that's the joke. That's just the way it is.
It has to,
Yeah.
Jeopardy has not reestablished itself since then.
No.
So
They haven't really nailed down one host yet either, have
No.
they?
I just think they're not trying hard enough. They just need to keep nailing people down until it happens.
Yeah. I think they're giving it completely over to Ken, but I don't know that as a fact. But there's been some issues with what's
Alec.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
So I think it's the job's Ken's to lose.
Well, and given that his claim to fame is being the first guy to be the champion after they took the limits off, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he'll do well. Maybe not. We'll see.
I've watched him. He's gotten better, but it's just it's there are certain people that have that certain thing, and Alex was perfect. I mean, he did. I don't know how many different game shows before he got the
Right.
That's true.
He'd been doing it for years and years beforehand.
I just don't think
Ken may not have it. Whatever
No,
it
I don't.
is.
I don't think he does. But I'm not sure what it is. But he does not have it.
He's no Wink Martindale. Game show host used to be a cool job.
It did, yeah.
Well, and clearly in the last 20 years, they've forgotten how to find a game show host because they keep trying to give it to celebrities like that means anything. I mean, celebrities stopped
meaning
like
maybe
something a long time
comedians
ago.
or something, but yeah.
Yeah, but even they don't often have the...
You'd
be surprised how much of stand-up comedy is practice.
Right.
And in a game show...
like Richard Dawson was like a 1 in a million thing where somebody was known and just kind of, sure, I'll just kind of be skeezy and host this thing and be weird, and it was perfect.
It just I mean, because we did a casting call toward the end of last year where we did game show hosts. I picked a bunch of game shows and say, okay, let's kind of come up with who we would think could do the shows and all that. And we were talking then, Alec Baldwin for Match Game was horrible.
Oh my God! Well, I think Match Game. I don't know if it would have been any better with anyone else because I think the panelists were never any good either.
They
no matter how much I loved them, no matter how much I was a fan of some of the people, it's like you should not be here. You don't understand how this game works. You're not being funny.
It was amazing. The first week or whatever that they did this in the format with him hosting.
Yeah.
They had Rosie O'Donnell as on the panel. She was perfect. She was almost Richard Dawson in this. She had she kind of had the rapport with the contestants and all that. She did really good. It's something
she understood the assignment.
Yes, yeah. Everybody else was just wanting to get drunk and make dumb jokes that didn't make any sense. And that's that. I mean,
Match Game, the original Match Game, one of the greatest game shows of all time, and utterly rewatchable, except for the ones where Gary Berghoff was in the front seat. Get him the hell up! Oh God, Who kept bringing Gary Berghoff back on there? Anyway.
Again, it's a celebrity thing. That he was very popular as Radar.
Well, especially when he took Charles' spot when Charles.
Oh God, that's right. They did
was
have him do that.
When Charles Nelson Riley was in New York directing a play.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that was terrible.
Mm-hmm. But what else I was going to say is, Michael Strahan for Pyramid, he does a pretty good job. I was not.
Right. He does do that.
I was surprised about that. He's horrible on Good Morning America, but
Well, and I think Drew Carey's come in and done really good for Bob Barker too.
Yes.
Yeah, that was kind of.
I
remember thinking that was a weird choice, but it really worked.
Yeah. It just kind of morphed into it. I think part of he knew what he was stepping into. And he didn't want to step on it,
Right.
He wanted to.
So what did he do? He respected it, and he did the research, and he watched the damn show and figured out what it took, and figured out what Bob did and how that dynamic worked.
Yeah.
And if everybody would do that,
yeah,
yeah.
I completely agree.
Yes.
And I like Jane Lynch as a host too. She's kind of snarky and. Can be funny too.
Yeah.
I agree with the previous statement.
And Craig Ferguson, although he's never done like classic game shows, but he did that one. He hosted a couple that celebrity word game thing, celebrity name game, and then there was one called the Mole, the Hustler, I think it might have been called. That was a weird game show, but it's like I don't think it lasted very long. I love him. But...
Well, and his research was doing a talk show for years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
learn to get that rapport with people.
Right, figuring out, learning how to
one of the best
interact
talk
with
show
people on
hosts
the fly.
ever. Yeah.
Yep.
He just because he's interested in people, and he just he doesn't want to do an interview. He just wants to have a conversation, and it's great.
Right, and the fact that he's batshit crazy makes it that much more fun.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Right. Yep.
And think on the fly.
Mm-hmm. Right. To be able, the ability to react. I can't even talk anymore. The ability to react is honestly, it's a learned thing. You have to practice it. You have to put yourself in that situation somehow and figure out how it works.
Yep.
Not that many people are naturally talented at it.
Not like us.
Right.
No.
Oh, shit. We've all been doing this a while. I mean, come on.
Anyway,
Love at First Bite. So, it's a movie.
It is. It's a thing that happened.
It is people worked on it. People wrote it down on a piece of paper and showed it to other people. And they said, yeah, let's do that.
I do not hate that I watched it, but I'm not sure I would do it again.
No. I might watch the trailer again, just kind of revisit the best parts. And
yeah.
Or just go find a movie video or a music video for I Love the Nightlife and call it good.
Sure.
If there is one. There might be.
There might be.
Probably. Well, either a music video or a performance of her on some music show.
Yeah.
Like Solid Gold or whatever.
Or Soul Train or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how much Soul Train did disco, but it's a little before my time.
Well, they.
What the hell was your name?
What?
Oh God! Now the name of the person who did I Love the Nightlife. That's going to drive me crazy.
I can't remember on top of my head right now.
Like Alicia Bridges, I think.
That
sounds
sounds very
familiar.
familiar.
That sounds familiar.
That is her, yes. Good call.
Oh my God! They won an award for that?
What's
For the song?
The song?
No, the makeup.
Oh.
No.
Saturn Award.
No.
Best makeup
Wow.
won. I
Must have
cannot
been a
believe
bad year for sci-fi films.
it.
Oh,
God,
Had
shit.
to.
Holy shit.
that's awful.
That was. Well, I mean, I don't know if they even covered up his tan like 50%. That was a pretty good makeup artist.
Oh my god.
He didn't turn out cream,
Before we started recording, I sent Mike an image that's what we'll be using for the episode and all that. And I swear to God, Susan St. James is whiter than he is.
Yeah.
And it's a picture of them, at the disco with a spotlight on them.
Yeah.
And yeah, she is so white, and you could see the orange peeking through what makeup was on him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
weird. Oh, damn. The makeup wasn't the only Saturn Award they won.
No.
George Hamilton and Artie Johnson won Saturn Awards.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Well, I can see Artie. I can definitely see Artie doing it.
Yeah. Artie was great.
Artie was fun. But he's fun in just about everything he does.
Yes.
Yep.
Very interesting.
Very interesting.
But not very funny.
Not at all, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look up and see what the nominees were for makeup for Saturn Wars. I just
Because it was appalling. Yeah.
Well, it said it was in 4 categories that year: best horror film, best writing, best actor, and best actress. And then you guys said it won at what? Makeup?
Oh, wow. Okay, I just pulled it up. So for 1979, the nominees for the makeup were Pat Hay for Alien, the people for Star Trek The Motion Picture, Tom Savini for Dawn of the Dead, are you fucking kidding me? And Peter Rob King for Dracula. I'm guessing that's the Frank Langella Dracula.
Yes, it is.
yes.
I mean, come on.
Which I need to make Liz watch.
Huh.
There was nothing in Love at First Bite that was better than Dawn of the Dead.
Right.
It was innovative, for God's sake.
Well,
Are you ready to watch that film again, Mikey?
The Langella Dracula?
Langella Dracula.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
It's on my list of movies to watch.
I bet it is.
Because I got a lot of Draculas to catch up on.
It's a hell of a cast.
It is.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm still tripping that it beat Alien too.
Right. How does that happen?
Yeah.
I mean, the only movie here that wasn't significantly better.
I mean, Alien.
Star Trek.
I guess Alien didn't necessarily. They had good effects, but they didn't. I guess makeup wasn't really a thing for Alien, apart from making Ripley sweaty or whatever.
Right.
I guess there wasn't a lot of
some weird little guy with a spray
Alien
bottle.
itself, though. You know.
In Star Trek: The Motion Picture, we had a bald cap, or did she shave her head? Maybe she might have shaved her head.
She shaved her head.
There was a big thing about the insurance policy she took out for that.
Oh wow, good for her.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd shave my head for a role.
Speaking of high power fashion models, but anyway.
Blake versus Gambata.
Exactly. Where is Persis Gambata these days? Is she still alive?
She's not. She's not
alive. No.
Oh, she's not.
No.
Oh wow. Oh, that was a long time. 98.
Yeah, she's been gone a while. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I don't know if I really saw her in anything else, but not much. Oh, Megaforce. Okay, fine.
You know what? I've seen bits and pieces of that. I've never watched that thing. I don't know. I haven't even looked for it. I'm not sure where it might be.
I mean, it's not a priority. It's not really.
No,
anybody.
I just remember all the ads on the back of the comic books for it. So.
I mean, you know, as Barry Bostwick movies go. His hair looked good. I hope they got an award for hairstyling. That was peak Barry Bostwick. Megaforce.
Maybe. Sadly, but maybe.
Yeah.
Is that a Canon production?
Probably.
I don't remember if it was. It might have been.
It says Golden Harvest.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So Hong Kong. That makes actually a little more sense. Oh, Henry Silva was in that. Not sure I've ever seen that. The way you guys are talking about it, I'm not sure I'm going to either, but...
Michael Beck's in it too, man. I mean,
yeah.
You know, it's...
Edward Maher?
Straight out of Xanadu, you know?
That's right.
From Xanadu to Megaforce.
Don't forget the Warriors. Don't forget the Warriors, you know.
The Warriors was before Xanadu.
Yeah.
The 80s were a wild time, I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah.
So you know, it kind of went downhill after the Warriors, I guess.
Everything went downhill after the Warriors. Which is why we're talking about Love at First Bite.
Mm-hmm. Warriors come out and play, yay!
Trying to, anyway.
Geez, imagine what would happen if Pitney and Les were here.
Oh, good Lord. Well, who knows what we'd be talking about.
Oh, we would have, yeah, the tangents would have been worse.
I mean, the one topic on our show that seemed, although this year we've managed to avoid it, I think, so far, but it seems like, you know, 3 or 4 times a year, it's just like, yes, we know you don't like uncircumcised dicks. We know. Everyone knows that now. I don't know why it always keeps coming back up. It's like, I would like it on the record that I did not bring this up.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say there are times when I'm pretty sure you did. But anyway.
See, in our show, it's Batwing.
And that is universally Liz bringing that one up.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes, she raises the topic.
Oh. Wow.
Raises the...
Not us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but I'm not.
Now,
Sorry,
see,
not sorry.
we need to drain the blood out of this one and get back to Love at First Bite again.
Drain the blood.
Thank you,
man.
Liz. Thank you for getting that one.
Yeah, George Hamilton.
Did they even put fangs on him? I swear it's
No.
like
I don't remember fangs at any
I
point.
don't remember fangs.
I don't remember fangs.
I remember
there was never like a big shot of, you know.
I remember there being multiple love scenes in which he's laying in some sort of bed.
Yeah.
In full tuxedo.
Yeah.
Well, you know, as you do.
Sure.
And cape.
And cape.
Because it's the cape that does it, remember?
And her howling in ecstasy, apparently, because he certainly didn't take it off till the end. Her howling in ecstasy, I guess, over the cape. I don't know.
She just really liked getting bit, I guess.
I guess so. So it's always good to
or
watch people.
like he said to her that she really likes to have her ankles licked. But that was one of his things when he was hitting on her in the nightclub.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Telling I know secret things about you, like you really like your ankles licked. It was like, what?
When he was a dog.
It was
Yeah.
from
when he
the
was a dog.
He transformed into a
Yeah.
dog in an earlier scene when she was
Oh.
the first time he went to her
No, that's
photo
true.
shoot.
That's true.
He went up and licked her ankle.
But she really, her response to hearing that was like, I thought that we were going to get some weird, give me,
Yeah.
foot
Instead
thing
it was
later.
like, ooh, let's go home.
Yeah.
Right.
You're a serial killer, but yeah, let's go back to my place.
Right.
Fix some ankles.
She didn't know he was a serial killer then.
You know. She did later and still got bit the third time.
Didn't matter.
Yep. Love conquered all.
That's right.
Aww.
Aww. He did get to say, I don't drink wine, but
He did.
it was so that he could also say, I don't smoke shit.
Yeah.
Oh, Pitney would have been very excited about the fact that she offered him lewds. Pitney gets very excited every time lewds come up in a movie. He wants to do Quaaludes. I'm like, if there's a Quaalude just sitting around somewhere, I'm pretty sure it doesn't do anything anymore.
Yeah, they stopped making those a long time ago.
Yeah.
I want to say we looked that up for the show not that long ago
I feel, yeah.
for some reason.
I feel like I've looked it up before, too.
No idea why.
I'm afraid to remember.
Me too. Steve's still listening after all.
Mm.
We've made him blush enough.
In my head, we're on like our 7th Steve because we keep burning them out. I don't know.
Like guardian angels.
Better to burn out than fade away. Not sure why the Highlander thing jumped into my head right then, but anyway, I ran with it.
It could have been worse.
Sorry, not sorry. No, what the fuck? We're certainly not talking about this movie anymore.
I still haven't seen that movie.
Which one?
Highlander.
Highlander?
Yeah.
It's too late. You missed the window. It's not worth it.
It's one of those movies I feel like I've seen, but I'm sure if I watched it, I'd be like, oh yeah, I don't remember any of this.
Wasn't there a TV show too?
Yes, there was.
Yes.
Okay.
Part of it's on principle. I know Mike knows this story. He may not remember, but we have a mutual friend, and this was a while back. He says, "Let's go see Highlander 2." I was like, I hadn't seen the first one. Oh, it doesn't matter. You'll pick up on it. Let's go see it. So I went with him to see Highlander 2, not knowing what the fuck was going on. I'm like, and so it's almost like a badge now. It's like, I saw 2, so I'm not going to watch the first one. Although I know Clancy's in it, so I may see it for Clancy Brown.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Connery's in it too, but that doesn't help either.
Right.
Connery was in The Avengers, and I'm sorry I saw that. And I'm talking about Steven Peele.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, Highlander was very much a product of its time. It's very much an 80s movie, and it let's just say there's a reason why it is a cult movie more than anything else.
Yeah.
Because it's not a great movie. Nerddom is going to rise up on me on this one, I'm sure, but it's just not a great movie. It's an interesting movie. It's got some fun moments in it, but there's so much dissonance in it. It just doesn't.
Well, as you get later in the Connery's career, you're just going when he passes up on certain roles because he's like, I don't understand it, and he takes other ones. Like he passed up on Gandalf, which I can't see him doing it anyway. And he also he passed up on Neo from The Matrix, but thought Alan Quatermain in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen would be perfect. Oh God!
Well, he knew who Alan Quatermain was.
Right. Well, yeah.
But anyway,
we're not going to go down that tangent. No, please not.
No.
That's actually going to be down the road. So let's just say it for
Fair enough.
And there's a reason why that was his last film, and he retired after that. So anyway, I think we're done talking about Love at First Bite. Amelia, why don't you promote the show a little bit?
Okay.
Your show, not ours. It's fine.
Your show.
Oh, all right. Sure. Okay, so Pitney and Amelia's Bitchen Boutique every other Friday, and this year it is the year of us, as I said, and we're doing nothing but stories that it's a very weird year to not do any current events. We keep going like, should we just let's not. No, we can't talk about that. We can only talk about us. But we've been doing this for we're gonna have our 9th anniversary this year in May. Wow. It's crazy. It's
congrats.
Thank you.
We just started year 9 ourselves.
It's a long time to be doing a podcast that,
Mm-hmm.
I stopped telling Pitney how many downloads we get because he was always like, "What was that? 1,000?" No, no. Who do you think is listening to this?
Oh.
We do it for the love of it. That's what I keep telling myself.
Well, that's what Mike keeps telling me when I start going, "Hey, look at the numbers."
I don't look at the numbers. I refuse. Yeah. I don't want to know. Yeah. We're doing this for fun.
Yeah, I thought about sneaking the words true crime and stuff into the show notes and things so that maybe we would show up on some searches or
SEO,
something. But,
right?
Yeah. haven't quite figured out how to tap into that. Weirdly, I think because we do really weird episode titles, I think that helps us get some the biggest episode we ever had on the YouTube channel, the most views was an episode called Period Pads for Pee. Very popular episode, apparently. Okay. I'm pretty sure people figured out pretty quick, oh, that's not what I was expecting.
Hey, they clicked it. That's all that matters.
That's right. I don't care as long as it counts. As long as it counts. Yeah. But we're it's a show about us, so, we're not for everyone. It's fine. I'm doing a terrible job at promoting.
You are not selling this at all. I don't know what to do with this. It's fine. It's an awesome show. Go listen to it. Shit.
It is.
Thank you.
It is.
That's
We're to the next
here.
episode, which I decided today is going to be titled Anyway, Amanda Gaddy's, because it took us almost 13 minutes to tell a story that really only took about a minute and a half. But we talk about tangents. And then every couple of minutes I go, anyway, Amanda Gaddy.
It sounds a lot like our show.
Yeah, we do that a lot.
Yeah.
Well, matter of fact, we did it tonight.
Repeatedly.
Absolutely. I resemble that remark.
Anyway, Pitney and Amelia's Bitchen Boutique.
Anyway. The internationally ignored podcast. Pitney and Amelia's
Oh, gosh. Well, thanks for hanging out with us again, Amelia.
Yeah.
Yes.
having me.
It's
I
always a
love coming on
blast.
talking to you guys.
So much fun.
It's so good.
Making you watch terrible movies and talk about them.
I mean, I'd be watching them anyway.
Yeah,
So
but-
what are we doing next time? What am I going to watch with you guys next time?
Oh, let me pull up the list.
Oh.
We got
Actually, I do know what we're going to do, because this year we are doing Jack the Ripper.
Right.
So our film, the film for all the horror special, is going to be Time After Time. Dr. McDowell and David Warner and Mary Steenburgen.
Which is another one I haven't seen in a really long time. Oh, yeah. Awesome. Very good.
It's Mike's favorite subject, time travel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a double. Actually, I do like the Jack the Ripper parts, though. I remember seeing that movie decades ago.
It's a
It'll be fun to
late
watch it again.
70s, early 80s, yeah.
It's got David Warner in it, so I'm in.
Oh, it's David, yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Oh, God, David Warner. I'm so bummed that he's no longer with us.
Something to look forward to, kids.
Yep.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
All right. With that, we will be right back after a quick break. And we're back, and it's time for Geek News for You. In this segment, we bring some news items up to the table for discussion. For this week, I have a news item. I'm just winging it by myself this week.
I mean, we're like hearing stuff. It's just
Yeah.
he just is doing the only news item.
Yeah. Okay. I first heard something about this through some discussion on Facebook, and when I see comic book creators and fans really get in an in-depth discussion, I'm like, something happened. So let's find out what's going on. Apparently, Christine Vallada, who is the widow of Lynn Wein, received a phone call from Marvel executive David Bogart informing her that the upcoming movie Wolverine and Deadpool, which is coming out this summer, they are altering the co-creator credits for Wolverine. Roy Thomas is being added as a co-creator. He was the editor on Incredible Hulk during the time that Wolverine made his first appearance. So obviously, an editor getting co-creation credit has sparked a lot of controversy. And it sounds like the genesis of this is Roy Thomas's manager. Can you imagine a comic book creator having a manager? But he does. This has been like a several-year campaign of his to get Roy credit for the creation of Wolverine. His contributions to this codename Wolverine, which that is up for debate regarding that, and the fact that he originally came out of Canada. That is his contribution to Wolverine. And apparently Marvel thinks, well, that's good enough to get a co-creation credit. So, as you can imagine, a lot of creators going, what the fuck is going on here? That this is...
Right. Why?
Right.
Yeah.
What's the purpose?
Wow.
And because Lynn Wein and officially the credits are Len Wein, Joe Romina Sr. He's the one that did the original sketches. Herb Trimpe, who was the artist on Incredible Hulk at the time. Some people would include Dave Cockrum, who, first did the first X-Men books with him in it. Those are names that are usually right around there with the creation of Wolverine. The fact that they're adding an editor is, some have said this is an opening can of worms, because now, can any editor go back and look at their history and see, what suggestions they may have made for a creation of character and go, oh, I should receive some kind of credit and compensation for that. Yeah.
And this will be the case that they go back to get that.
The thing that I find funny about this is I saw someone's comment saying that Marv Wolfman isn't getting full credit for like the creation of Blade and certain other characters, because not only was he a writer on the book, he was the editor. So it's like, that seems kind of a double standard. If editors can get creation credits, then I'm against it. And the thing is Roy has been silent on this. I know a lot of people there's been several organizations have reached out, try to get a comment from him, but he's not made one as of this recording. So, but I just don't understand this.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know the whole process here, but by the time the editor gets your book, isn't it basically done, laid out, done? You've got the sketches done, to kind of show the layout of it, and they just come in and basically go, no, this won't work here, you got to put it here, or you use the wrong language here, or
that depends.
Yeah, it could be that could be that, but from what I'm understanding is that this was kind of early. He basically made the comment saying, we should have a Canadian superhero, something along those lines, and that Lynn took the ball and run, and then whether or not the term Wolverine was used, there's too many people. And here's the other thing: this is happening years after both Lynn and Herb have passed, so they can't fight this. The states can
dispute it,
but there's no one here going, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Yeah. That is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's possible that that Thomas had something to do with. It's possible that he was present for the creation process.
Right.
Because you don't get hung up on the term editor, because there are different types of editors, and a lot of times an editor could just be someone who's reporting directly to the publisher, and so they're acting in terms of they're basically standing in for the publisher in some of these meetings where things are well before the process where you might think of an editor being required. So it's entirely possible, but at what point do you just, the problem I think is that continuing to add people to the credits or for who created something like this, who created a property or a character or whatever, you're just starting to dilute the waters, and more than like in most cases, someone in that position where they're mainly just kind of a manager and a consultant at that stage, they're not really doing the work. Some of them are contributing some things and some of them aren't. How much influence they actually have is going to vary wildly and is going to be very difficult to track. And so it's a slippery slope because, like you said, Liz, you're setting a precedent.
Yeah.
And it's a precedent that a lot of people are going to latch onto really fast, probably, after this happens. And it's kind of, I mean, to call it dangerous is probably a stretch because it's not like there's a crap ton of money involved in this process either. But we're just at this point we're just adding more and more names to the ending credits of movies. That, I mean, is it important? Is it necessary? Do we have to name every single employee at the special effects studio that did the work? I mean, do we have to add the name of every single Uber driver who had anything to do with the creation of this movie? I mean,
yeah.
Where does it end?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I just don't understand. I just don't understand what the thought process is on Marvel's end. I mean, the manager, I get his motivation. He's, like he said, he's hoping that some of that money is going to go Thomas's way, which he'll get a percentage of because he's the manager. But
Yep.
what is the thought process on Marvel's end? That's what I don't understand.
Right. All they're doing is adding plaintiffs for when somebody decides to sue them over royalties for a character. It can't benefit them in any way.
Here it's saying that before Marvel didn't push the issue when he raised it, that Marvel didn't push the issue because it wasn't a Marvel movie. But now that Deadpool Wolverine is coming over and it is a Marvel movie now, that's when they decided to look into his claims. So they hadn't even really taken him seriously either at this point until...
Because they weren't culpable.
Kind of,
but
go talk to Century Fox.
So they're trying to, right. And so they're trying to soothe him. They're trying to calm him down. They're trying to keep him quiet. They're trying to give him what he wants without necessarily having to throw a bunch of money at him because they're a company.
And he claims that he won't get a penny from this, which I find that really hard to believe.
Right, then who cares?
You really push the issue when the biggest movie's about to come out.
Right, and you're doing it 40 years after the fact. Why didn't he push
the issue? Right, 50,
Yeah, 45.
Well,
that's insane.
Like plus, like I said, plus the fact that the men that were actually involved with creation are gone and can't fight
they can't even speak up. Yeah.
Right.
They can't even go, he did say that, or no, he didn't.
Right. Nobody can verify what was said in those meetings.
Right.
That's the deal. Or in the bullpen, wherever they were.
His word. Yeah.
Right.
And he said the 4 main requirements he had, they went with. But Lynn took it and ran with it. And his requirements was he had to be Canadian, he had to be short, he had to be named Wolverine. And where's the 4th? I lost it. Yeah. And he said those 4 requirements is why he's claiming this now.
Yeah, I don't.
But didn't raise the issue until 6 years after Lynn died.
Yep.
I don't get it.
To me, I don't know. And then he goes on about respect and blah, 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 blah. Then why are you doing this, dude? This is his legacy. He's dead. He can't do anything more. Why are you doing this now? I'd like to know when this was raised, because he said, that Marvel hadn't considered it until they got the movie rights back, but I'd like to know when he raised this. I'm not seeing that. How long did they ignore him before they went, okay?
Right, and how much money had Wolverine made in the movies before they raised this?
Yeah. And if I was him, if this was such a big deal to me and I wanted it, I would have raised the issue when Death of Wolverine came out. That was probably the most selling from this series, not movie, but comic book wise, because I think that's the reason why he's saying, well, I'm not going to make a penny off the movie. I don't think he's going after the movie. You start giving him credits, now you got rights to the comics. Right?
Yeah, you say that, but the money is in the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that line was, especially
Right.
like I said, the Death of Wolverine was top selling for months,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, and if it was really
That's
about credit, why wouldn't he have brought this up back when Corman was doing the X-Men movie?
Yeah.
Because there ain't gonna be any money in that, especially since it was never released.
If it's all about credit, then Roy has written so many stories,
Right.
has created so many characters that it's clear he created this with whoever the penciler and inker and all that was involved. Why isn't he going after those characters? Because there's no doubt. There's no doubt he created them. Why isn't he not doing that? Well, like you said, money.
Yep. Well, and then he's like, no, I don't need the money, thank you very much. Then why are you doing this?
Then what's the point?
Right.
What's the point in upsetting his widow right now? Why are you doing this then?
Right. You're talking about respect. Who are you disrespecting here? People who aren't here to fight for themselves. People who aren't here to argue with you.
Yep.
Anyway.
And I'm looking back over this article, and he said he had 4 things that had to be, and there's not a 4th one listed. Am I just missing it? Wolverine, Canadian, and short. That's only 3.
I think the 4th one was something about the temperament. He was supposed to be kind of have the anger issues. Because I kind of remember.
Because Wolverines are fierce.
Yes, something along those lines.
Well, I thought that's why they were calling him Wolverine, but okay. Yeah, to me this just reeks. I mean, it just reeks. If he's saying that he's not getting anything out of this, then why?
Because all him and the manager is doing are pissing everybody off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
especially like I said, the widow.
Right. Upsetting the widow, but you're also upsetting your colleagues. I mean, I've seen comments, and you take it for what it's worth. Some say, okay, I'm not touching anything Roy Thomas wrote ever again because of this. And I'm like, that seems a little extreme.
That's dramatic.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But some people are that upset. I think I saw something, and I don't remember how it was phrased, but it could be that because I don't know if he does the convention circuit, but Roy Thomas, writer of Invaders and Justice Society and is one thing. Roy Thomas, co-creator of Wolverine, something entirely different. That may get some people come in that probably wouldn't come in. I don't know. So that made me money that way. Not the comics, but maybe the autographs and signatures. I mean the pictures and whatever. That could be it too. I don't know because I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
This makes absolutely no sense.
They're comparing this to Bill Finger.
But it's not the same.
It's not.
It is not.
Totally. I mean, apples and oranges.
Because Bob Kane's Batman, I mean, you had the name. I think it was hyphenated back then. Was a blonde guy with a domino mask, red long johns, and a bat cape. That was the Batman we could have had. Bill Finger comes in and gives us the version that we know today. And not only that, gives us some of the villains, gives us Commissioner Gordon, all this other stuff. Bill Finger contributed way more than Bob Kane did.
Yeah, for sure.
And certainly more than what Roy Thomas is claiming he's done for Wolverine.
Yeah. Well, he had a lot more of a hand into it, and actually worked on it, not just threw ideals out and I'll see what sticks,
Yeah. So.
And he said just because it took a long time to get the real story doesn't make it untrue. Well, who are we going to ask? Let's go ask Glenn.
Yep.
And then he said he could have done the same thing to Stan Lee. No. Stan Lee would have slapped the shit out of you, dude. I mean, No, you couldn't have.
So, yeah. So you see why I brought this to the table, because I just found out about it maybe yesterday afternoon or so, something like that. And I mean, everybody's chiming in. Kurt Busiek, Mark Wade. I mean, they're still posting stuff on this.
Was this on Twitter?
It's on Facebook.
On Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
I said the article I was reading came from Forbes. But yeah, that's yuck.
Yeah, I hadn't seen anything on Twitter, but I mean, it's Facebook that's been having the very, very long discussions about this. We'll see what comes about this.
Yep. Keep us in the loop, because that's a weird one.
And it just seems so funny that they just automatically said, okay, yeah, that's fine. And it was just literally 3 months ago that they finally settled with the Ditko estate from that lawsuit, and then everybody else last summer. But they immediately just bend over and took it up the caboose with this, and then said, "Thank you, sir. May I have another." I'm just not understanding any of this. It's above my pay grade anyway, so.
Pretty much.
Okay. Any special shout-outs? Obviously, we want to thank Amelia once again for coming on. It's always fun having her on, and we would love to have her on more often, but
she's got her own show to do.
She's got her own show to do, and she has her own lot, and she has a lot of stuff going on in personal life too. Work and all that. So just can't happen. But
she has Pitney to corral,
and there's
a full-time job. Jeez.
I think that's time and a half job right there.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry we missed Pitney, and sorry we missed Les, but Les should be back next week. So, any other shout-outs?
Not me.
Well, today is my niece Bree's birthday, so she listens. So happy birthday, Bree!
Yeah, happy birthday, Bree!
Yeah, happy birthday! The best April Fool's joke ever.
Wow.
Well, I didn't mean it like that, but yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure, Liz. We understand.
Yeah. Well, Michelle kept telling me the night before, I'm going to tell everybody that I'm going to have, that, I had her. And it's like, no, don't do that to people, because she wasn't due for a couple more weeks. It's like, don't do that to people. So when they called me to tell me Brienne was born, I was like, no, she's not. April Fools.
You can't tell me you're going to do this and then do it to me. Come on.
Right. So she was the best April Fool's joke. I don't think I actually believed anybody till I got to the hospital, and it was like, oh, damn. That heifer really had a baby.
Dang.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so let's move on to our regular shout-outs. I want to thank Pop Goes the Culture for allowing us to be part of a great group of podcast network. Definitely check them out. We'll have a link in the show notes. We also want you to check out the fine men and women who have been so kind enough to spread the word of the fellowship by retweeting our links. This is Potter and Family. Best way to look them up is just do a search, hashtag Potter and Family, all one word. Just scroll through whatever catches your eye. By all means, please click on that link and download the episode. Hope you have a good time listening to them. I want to thank Manny the Martyr for supplying music to the podcast. In our show notes, you will see a link to where you can check out some of their other music. And finally, you, dear listener, thank you for downloading and listening to today's episode. We value your feedback. Any comments, questions, suggestions, complaints, observations, what have you, please send them our way. Our email address is email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. Or you can go to the website and go to the About Us page, and there's a contact form you can fill out, and we will read that. Wasn't mentioned earlier. It might have been mentioned in passing, but we do have a Discord. We post a lot of news items, stuff for discussion, stuff to laugh at, all that kind of good stuff. We do have a section there for feedback. You can post your thoughts there. We do have an open invitation for our Discord on the homepage. And sign up for Discord is free, and the apps are free in all the app stores. Social media. We're on Facebook, The Fellowship of the Geeks. We're on Instagram and Twitter/X as @FellowshipGeeks. If you like to follow our personal Twitter accounts, Mike can be found @MikeyGeek. Liz can be found @LN_geek. Les may or may not be found @FakeLesWebster. And I can be found @TomTCGeek. And from wherever you download our episodes, if you'd be so kind as to rate and review the show, it would be greatly appreciated. Anything else before we say goodbye?
Just thanks, everybody.
Yep, thanks, everybody.
Thanks for listening. We appreciate the support. And until next time, geek on, my friends. We thank you for listening to the show. Comments, suggestions, and questions can be sent to email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. You can follow us on Facebook @The Fellowship of the Geeks and on Twitter @FellowshipGeeks. Until next time,